we had our, Texas was a province of the Southwest Regional Synod of the Association of Evangelical Lutheran Churches. There were 4 states in the Southwest Regional Synod: Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. And so I and a couple lay people went up to Irving, Texas, where Donna was
I was on the staff.
on the staff of the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, where the assembly was held, the convention. And it was during that convention that we had to elect new leadership in the different regional caucuses, and that was the Texas caucus, because the provincial bishop at that time was Ed Schwanke from Austin. He was stepping down, so they had nominations, and my name was put in nomination right away, and seconded, and boom, I was elected unanimously. So caucus ended. I was happy. I wasn't looking for that position, I wasn't even seeking it. And then all of a sudden I get cornered by one of the AELC executives, Ellen Ewald, at a reception at someone's home that night. And the presiding bishop was also at that reception, and he looked very, very serious and very concerned when he heard news of my election. He says, you need to do one of 2 things, Ellen Ewald told me. You need to either tell the people who elected you the truth, that you're homosexual and living with somebody, or withdraw. And I went over and talked to Bishop Stutland too, and he felt the same way. So, okay. Spent an almost sleepless night that night. Came back the next day, the caucus was reconvened. And I got up there and hemmed and hawed. I started out by saying, well, I really need to let you know, I need to reconsider the fact that I accepted this position. And then finally I just said, hell with it, I'm going to come out and tell the truth. I am gay, and I'm living in a relationship with a man I love very much. So I ask you to reconsider your election of me as your bishop, your provincial counselor, or whatever you want to call it, right away. And Donna will attest to this. The lay people there.
Well, first of all, it was like no big deal, and then people started talking to it, talking theologically to it. You remembered one. I had remembered somebody saying, he's a good pastor. That's why we elected him.
What does this have to do with his ability to be our bishop?
Yeah.
Or another one said, I've known Danny for a long time, I love him very much. Things like that. So.
And so then the presiding bishop, Stutman, of the South,
comes into the room.
And so now he says, well, you've had this emotional response to this. I don't know, did he think we were saving you, or I don't know what it was. But anyway, he had this emotional response. Or maybe he thought it was groupthink. I don't know what it was. But anyway, he said, so you have to caucus again, but as smaller groups, like congregations.
Hoping to divide people
up. And so that you talk this over about the implication.
Really figure out how horrible your decision
and what it will mean for the merger.
Mm-hmm.
I think then they were still calling it union, but for the merger. So we caucused, and in the group of 10 or 15 that I was, they said, well, it makes no sense to change our vote. There is the whole reason we left Missouri Synod was because of for the sake of the gospel, and this is a gospel thing to do. So now all these different small groups came back together. They voted again and elected him with even a stronger vote than the first time.
You gained some more points there, huh?
Well, and I was telling him that what had happened with these laity that had gone through this whole Missouri thing. They knew how to do theology, and at these assemblies, what would always be a primary portion of the meeting together would be to do theology. I mean, you'd get some issue and you'd think through it theologically. And
right.
So anyway, so we voted, and then
the bishop came back in and says, we can't, we just can't allow this to happen. It will jeopardize union talks with the ALC and the LCA. We will do, in exchange for Reverend Harms. My name was Daniel Harms at the time. That's another story. No offense.
No offense. Maybe I should, but
And I love that. I love being the Reverend Harms, but there was something that happened later that just didn't work out. But anyway, so I said, they said, you either, if you will withdraw from this position, we'll do a study on homosexuality in the church. So I could see the, handwriting was on the wall. I could see the pressure was being brought to bear on these lay people not to let this happen. One of the pastors, I think in Garland, Texas, says, well, we just can't have a gay bishop, for crying out loud, And so I graciously withdrew because of the pressure that I saw being brought to bear, and they had another election, and Mark Herdner was elected my successor, Bishop of Texas, Provincial Bishop of Texas, and then, they put together some kind of a study commission, but there were no LGBT people on that commission whatsoever.
So they made a resolution to get rid of all gay people because you were such a good pastor that you got recognized?
All openly about practicing homosexual clergy will be removed from the clergy roster. To their knowledge, I was the only one, but
Just in case.
in case.
Yeah.
And we don't want to make this so ad
So
hominem.
it's not personal.
It's not personal.
no,
No.
it makes it policy,
Yeah, it makes
not
it-
an attack.
Exactly,
So that
exactly.
Make it broad enough that